There's been a lot of talk on social media in Rockford about the home rule.
Yeah.
And both her and I and many people have to plead ignorance when it comes to what the home rule is and how it's going to benefit Rockford should it get voted into whatever the big word is.
See, we don't even know that part. We just need to vote yes.
So we vote yes,
That's right.
and the home rule kicks in. So what is that? What is home rule in short? And then what is it going to? How is it going to benefit actual Rockford taxpayers?
Okay, let me start it. So in 1970, the Illinois General Assembly, when they passed their Constitution in 1970, they stated and they knew that they couldn't legislate broadly for every single municipality. We have really small municipalities. We have really large ones like Chicago. We have rural and we have urban. So they understood they couldn't just do one law for every single one and have it apply to all of them. So they created home rule. Home rule means that you have more local control, more local power and authority to create solutions to your challenges and your opportunities. So there's good and bad to it, right? With more power and control, there's always good and bad. What I would say is home rule is simply a vehicle. It is a tool for your local government to use to address your local challenges and opportunities. Right now, if we want to do things, we literally need to go and ask the state legislature for their permission. We understand how dysfunctional our state legislature can be. I mean, for an example, when the state legislature passed their budget this year, it took them over 2 years. They took 60% more money out of all of our paychecks, and they provided 10% less money than they did the year before back to municipalities. So that put an extra burden on us. Well, all I'm saying is we need, as Rockfordians, we need, and I believe we deserve, to go into the polls on March 20th with some conviction that we deserve the opportunity to control a piece of our destiny. Right now, we're letting Springfield control our destiny. And that's the last place in probably the world I would want to have the power to control my destiny and my kids' destiny.
So this is not a right side, a left side, middle of the road issue.
No.
This is a taxpayer. You live in Rockford. This benefits you. Vote. I mean, obviously we want people to vote yes. You would like people to vote yes, and it sounds like for the benefit of Rockford, it's a win-win.
So, yeah, can I talk a little bit because there is good and bad, right?
Sure.
So those who oppose it have some legitimate concerns. Number one, it lifts tax caps. So I could increase property taxes really high. Mm-hmm. Number one, why would any of the local people want to do that? Because we all live here. We go to the same grocery stores. We see you at church.
Sure.
Your mayor's at your radio station. I don't think you've had Madigan or Cullerton or Rauner in here.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't want to do that. We could also increase our debt. We can do a whole bunch of really nasty things, right? But there's also some really wonderful things that we can do. We can create a community land bank so that we can address the blight and foreclosed properties in our neighborhoods to strengthen our neighborhoods and get those properties back into the hands of investors or homeowners. We could create a local preference ordinance. Right now, we have to take the lowest bid for every contract, and it sounds good because it saves taxpayers money. The problem is, let's say Tom's HVAC from Indiana outbids Tom's HVAC in Rockford, Illinois by 2%. I have to give that contract to the Indiana company right now. Yeah. With home rule, I could create a local preference that says, hey, Tom from Rockford, if you are within 5% of the lowest bid, we'll allow you the opportunity to meet or beat the lowest bid. So it's the best of both worlds. We keep all of our tax dollars here working for us, employing our people and helping businesses here expand while also getting the lowest bid. We have, with those legitimate concerns about property taxes and debt, we've put in some guardrails, I like to call, or self-limiting ordinances. One is we have capped our property taxes that we would be able to increase to what any non-home rule community, so absolutely no change. Mm-hmm. We have also stated that any property or sales tax increase would have to have a public hearing, would have to be automatically laid over, and would not just need a simple majority at city council, but would need a supermajority. And the last thing is, I've said I'm in favor of the recall ordinance for myself. So if I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do, I am now giving power to the residents to actually recall me before my next election.
So if you suck it up, we just make some phone calls.
You make some phone calls, you take me out. The thing is, there's only one other mayor in Illinois history that has approved the recall authority for themselves. So we have the most restrictive guardrails that we possibly could just to tell people we don't want to do those bad things. With any vehicle, there's good and bad, right? I mean, think about my own personal vehicle. I could pick up my mother this Sunday and drive her to church. Or I could just drive into a crowd. It's a vehicle, but it's the user and the users, being the city council and myself, that control how that vehicle is being used. And the people who control the people controlling the vehicle are all the citizens who are voting. So I'm saying if we want more authority and power, I think citizens should have more authority and power. And that if you want to recall me, you're more than able to do so.
Dang.
You're giving everyone a reason to trust you in our local government.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're putting your butt on the line in case this thing gets voted yes and it tanks and you're like, you know what? I did it.
That's me.
Pick me out.
Yep. And I think it's important. It's also important to know home rule would give us an ability to, people say, oh, they're just going to tax you who live here. It's contrary. The thing I want to do is tax those who are coming in, using our services and all of our wonderful amenities. We have the top ranked park district. We have people traveling here to utilize that park district. We have an internationally known Anderson Japanese Garden. We have an internationally known natural history museum. We have sports complexes and the sports factory that we built to attract people, and it's working. Yeah. So why not grab some of the money from these folks who are using all of our resources, driving on our streets, utilizing our emergency services? Why don't we utilize some of that money to help lighten the load for all of us? My last thing I'll say is I have the best job in the world. I truly do. I absolutely love it. But I didn't run to be mayor of Rockford and keep the status quo. I think the idea that we have the highest violent crime per capita is not acceptable. I think the idea that we have the highest property taxes in the state is not acceptable. I think the idea that we have this awful depiction of being a miserable community is not where I want to raise my son and daughter, and I don't think it's where anyone wants to raise their kids. Right. So my feeling is we can continue to be held hostage by the Springfield legislators who are completely dysfunctional. We can continue to fear every single change, or we can go into the polls on March 20th with some conviction that we as Rockfordians deserve to have a piece of control and authority to follow our own destiny and not let other people put that destiny upon us.
Wow. I feel so much more intelligent now. Now that I actually know what I'm reading in the news when it says home rule, I'm not like, well,
what's that mean? Yeah.
Sounds like a home run to me.
And honestly, you're going to see a whole bunch of opposition coming from Springfield. They want to keep the control. So I want to increase the gaming costs. So you're going to see the Beverage Association probably send you mailers. We want to do certain things. So you're going to see these little special interest groups from Springfield sending flyers to your door. All I'd say is, at the bottom line, number one, I just want citizens to vote. No matter what they do, just get out and vote. Number two, get out and get informed. There are literally over 35 different meetings you could attend to learn more about home rule. There's 4 more public meetings that are citywide that you could learn about home rule, and I'll make sure that you get them if you want to post them. All I say is get educated, get informed, make an informed vote.
I like that. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you.